G seconds. Okay, fellas, you both have been given the rules. I'm expecting good, clean boxing. When I say break, take a full step back, protect yourself at all times. Touch them up. Good luck to you. Buena suerte.
Ortiz believes he's already the best heavyweight in the world. He may indeed be right, but he feels the pressure and the responsibility to not only win here, but to win in such a way to make you believe it and to continue garnering support as the heavyweight that the fans want to see the other top guys get in with.
But I'm pretty sure some non-believers out there, and that's why he needs fights like this, not only to stay busy, but to keep him honest and continue to move up that ladder.
Anybody want to bet on the fight going 12 rounds?
Nope. Tony Thompson can certainly handle himself. Obviously not in the best shape of his career. He took it on late notice.
Oh, he would love to drag Ortiz into the late rounds and find out what the big man can do under those circumstances. Recently, you've had a string of relatively quick knockouts for Ortiz. It took 7 rounds, of course, for him to put away the extremely durable and defensively skilled Bryant Jennings, but he got it done. Although Jennings won a few rounds along the way as Ortiz was making his way toward that knockout victory.
Thompson, other than Bryant Jennings, is a lot more experienced, and then sitting back waiting for shots and sort of waiting to see if Ortiz leaves himself open. Bryant Jennings came right towards Ortiz, and he gave Ortiz opportunities.
Thompson's sort of like Gumby. I mean, he's got a flexible body. He's not there to be a real power puncher, but he hunts and pecks. He sticks the jab. He'll find a way to sneak in the power punch every once in a while. He's tricky.
And he's a smart fighter. I mean, he's a smart fighter that sit back in the pocket and wait and try to see what pop shots he can get in, pop shots or regular shots. And he's going to try to continue to do that until he sees an opening. But he's not going to risk himself early.
46 fights, 40 wins. Again, knocked out only by Vladimir Klitschko twice. The first time in the 11th round. The second time just a little bit quicker than that. I believe it was the 8th. The bottom line is he's shown a capacity to go deep into fights.
He gave a good enough account of himself against Vladimir Klitschko at a time when no one was doing that he got a rematch.
You know, this is one of these fights where Thompson just got hit with a left.
Down goes Thompson on the first solid left hand thrown by Ortiz.
5, 6,
and Thompson
7,
struggles to get up.
8, 9. What's up? How you feel?
He's up at 9.
You all right? There you go. Take
But that's the kind of power that Ortiz has been flashing, which causes everyone to say, hey, wait a minute. This is a man with enormous potential.
You just saw the reason that none of the other heavyweights wanted to get in with Ortiz for this fight.
41 seconds still to go in the round. Time for Ortiz to try to get in another left-hand shot. Misses with that one.
Ortiz is skillful, as we see all of the Cubans with deep amateur records are. But the difference is he has an aggressive mentality, and he's a heavyweight puncher.
And he's athletic with that aggressive. He's not just aggressive coming in recklessly. He's coming in with skills. He's coming in with the jab.
He's coordinated.
Exactly. He's a southpaw, and he's using that to his advantage.
And he's a two-fisted knockout guy. He can knock you out with the right hook and the right uppercut, as well as with the straight left hand.
Amazing that Thompson looks like he's going to get out of this round.
There's a look at Dominic Wade, who is the April 23 opponent for Gennady Golovkin. He's the mandatory challenger under one of Golovkin's title belts. And he says, oh, I'm ready, totally ready to fight Gennady Golovkin. It's quite fitting to see him after Ortiz already scored a knockdown in the first round, because Golovkin, of course, has 21 knockouts in a row.
And sometimes just pull the hook. You see what he's trying to do? Look, take that left hand and shield, all right? Take your left hand and shield. You going down and bending, and you leave.
Here's the setup off the jab, and now into straight left on top of the head. You know, Thompson is waiting in the wing. He's leaning back, and he's always available to get hit with that shot. Here we go again. Ortiz is giving him the fake, and then he's going to shoot. As long as Thompson's ducking back and leaning backwards, he's going to get hit all the time with that same shot.
And there's Tony Thompson, there's Luis Ortiz's family, seated at ringside and celebrating the knockdown.
Thompson went down hard against David Price in the rematch, got up and stopped Price. But Luis Ortiz ain't no David Price.
You know, Tony better not sit back and just wait for Ortiz to hit him. He has to do something, as I said earlier, to at least get Ortiz to think and listen to wait and try to set up his shots other than jump right on Thompson like he's going. But Thompson's not throwing no punches.
Left hand, glancing blow on the head from Ortiz.
I think Thompson's hoping to catch Ortiz with something coming in. He thinks probably that's his only chance, and that's one of the reasons Ortiz didn't jump on him at the end of the first round.
Thompson smiling at Ortiz, trying to convince Ortiz that he's not in any way ruffled by the first round knockdown.
I think it's the opposite, Jim. I think he don't want to expose himself to get countered by Ortiz, which started the first knockdown in the first place.
Because he's laying back.
He's leaning back. He's leaning back, and he's leaning right to a long right hand or a long left hand. Either way, he's going to get hit with that punch because he's not ducking under the punch. He's leaning back to get hit.
He's still in the path of the punch.
Well, he's leaning from the punch, thinking he's getting out of the way, but he's actually going to get caught on the end of the punch. The right hand or the left hand by Ortiz.
And you try to think of a high-quality heavyweight who is capable of leaning back and getting away from power punches, and that list is one name long, Muhammad Ali.
Listen, Thompson has a chance to survive some rounds, maybe not win the fight, if he at least throw punches to keep Ortiz least honest or at bay before he strikes.
I think with Ortiz has pretty quick hands for a guy his size with his kind of punching power. He's athletic enough that heavyweights are going to be fearful of letting their hands go because they feel they can be caught with something big.
But if he sit there like a sitting duck,
he'll get knocked out anyway.
He'll get knocked out anyway, so he must at least keep Ortiz thinking about something before he just walk in with 3 or 4 punch combinations. If you're going to go out on your shield, Max, you got to go out on your shield, but he cannot wait to receive those big punches by Ortiz.
Yes, well, and as you were saying, a little 1-2.
Thompson now very wary of the Ortiz left hand. Circling to his right, so Ortiz throws to the right side of Thompson's body to try to pin him into position to throw another knockout shot. Almost had what he wanted right there. Thompson makes it out of the second round. April 23, a doubleheader you don't want to miss as middleweight ruler Gennady Triple G Golovkin looks to continue his historic knockout streak against Dominic Wade, and Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez defends his flyweight title against McWilliams Arroyo. And in May 7, HBO pay-per-view brings you another sensational middleweight matchup as Canelo Alvarez defends his title against Amir Khan. An unexpected matchup, somewhat counterintuitive. Some people say, oh, Khan's too small. This is a mismatch. Other people see the potential for a great fight between Canelo's power and Khan's tremendous speed. The White House understand there's a competition going on for that particular residency in the future. No knockouts so far in that competition. Although, of course, some applicants have fallen by the wayside. And now we prepare for third round.
The longer this fight go, doesn't look good for Ortiz because people expecting, the fans expecting Ortiz to get rid of Thompson within 5 rounds. So either way, you know, Ortiz has to go ahead and needs to step on the gas and make that statement and just get it over with. Or Thompson's going to have to at least try to make it look bad and boring to try to at least win a moral victory.
It's the heavyweight division. The guy's fighting is experienced. He weighs 260 pounds. He fights on his back foot. He's a southpaw. He's not trying to engage that much. I think what people appreciate about Ortiz, you saw at the start of this round. Ooh, good sneaky left hand by Thompson, which is the referee pushed them aside, separated them for another second or two while something happened, and Ortiz rolled his eyes like, come on, I'm trying to fight. Ortiz is looking to fight.
But Thompson is one of those guys that can lure you to sleep. He can take you into rounds, and really not be doing nothing, but you will stop your performance. That is, Ortiz might stop or sit back and look at Thompson and wondering when you're going to fight, and you can lose rounds like that, or they can become controversial whether they even rounds or not. And I think they need to step on the gas when Thompson want to rest. As right now, he should let 2 hands go, work their body, and make Thompson fight.
as is often the case in heavyweight fights between big men, big punchers, not a lot of body shots. They're working upstairs and looking to land big.
Heavyweight division is a different animal than the other divisions. When guys get this big, taking a punch is not proportional to the division. In other words, you get hit by a 250-pound guy, I don't care who you are, you're going to go if it's a clean shot.
And when you got a body look like Thompson, you should go to the body right
if you're Ortiz.
First round, or if you're Ortiz, you got to go to the body because he's looked soft around the midsection, and you must expose that.
Oh, okay. Ortiz danced like the shot didn't hurt him, so Thompson clipped him with another good left hand.
Thompson seems to have gotten his bearings after the first round knockdown and is now into the kind of rhythm which could give him a chance to stretch it for some rounds. And Bernard, you said that you think it's important for Ortiz to go ahead and finish the business, but frankly, KO4, KO5, KO6, these all look pretty much the same on the record.
Yeah, but you said he's getting his bearings. I think he's getting confidence. And when you get confidence, a guy like Thompson, to give him confidence could be the worst and the most difficult fight of your life leading into the end of the round, because he's in a round that he ain't expected to be.
Right. Thompson, you could argue, actually won this round. Ortiz knows he has the kind of power where if he changes 2 for 1, there it goes.
Again. Down again on another left hand, and wonder how much more of this Thompson wants. But he drags himself up to his feet and will go on to round 4. He's been knocked down twice. There's his wife, Sydney Thompson, seated at ringside.
Okay.
He's fighting in front of his hometown. He's not going to quit.
It's only when you're getting lazy, man. Only when you're getting lazy. Look, work that jab, and look, let it be measured. When you get lazy, that's when shit's happening, all right? Work your jab, measure it off, don't reach again. And he still got you bending down, man, and coming over top. I don't want that no more.
Another look at the knockdown for
Ortiz down. That's the left hand coming over the top. Look, Thompson keep running away from the punch without running with his feet. He's ducking away from it.
It certainly appears that if Ortiz lands the left hand to the temple, he's going to knock Thompson down, because he's done it twice and he's been down twice.
And Thompson is not looking. He's not looking at his opponent. He's ducking before the punch even comes, and then when it gets there, he's on the canvas.
Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim, 3-0, 30-25. Luis Ortiz, you give him 2 10-8 rounds for the 2 knockdowns in rounds 1 and 3.
Even right now, he continued to still duck away from the punch before the punch even get there. And then when Ortiz sees that opportunity, he throws a straight left hand or overhand left, which knocks Thompson down the first 2 times.
As we saw against Jennings, Ortiz has the kind of power where the other guy's doing some good work, maybe carrying the round. Ortiz knows it only takes 1 from him.
Thompson is looking to get hit before the punch is even thrown, and that's sort of a gunshot, mentality. Gunshots, he's afraid that a punch is coming when the punch don't even come yet.
Referee Malik Waleed sent both fighters to neutral corners while someone toweled off the wet spot in the far corner.
Thompson has nothing on his punches. He's just throwing arm punches right now, so he's not even going to get the respect from Ortiz. And Ortiz now should just step on the gas and just let the punches go, and the fight will be over.
As easy as Ortiz is to hit from a long-arm, tall heavyweight, though, you wonder if there aren't some long-arm, tall heavyweights thinking, I can get to this guy and maybe hit him with more power than Thompson's hitting him.
But Ortiz is not really that easy to hit. His perception, it looks that way, but he's not, because he's looking to counter you while you punch like you just did. I mean, Thompson got a good shot in with the left hand, but Ortiz was in the process of throwing his left hand also. They're both southpaws.
Well, Ortiz is moving into position as the mandatory challenger for one of the belts, which was previously held by Vladimir Klitschko and is now held by Tyson Fury. His plan and his vision for winning the championship is that he believes Vladimir will beat Fury in the rematch, and ultimately he'll get the chance to fight Vladimir. He wants that because he knows that Vladimir is still more prestigious worldwide than is Tyson Fury, and then he believes that he's going to knock Vladimir out and become the man.
Well, I love to see unifications in any division, and that would be a great fight. That would be a great time for boxing. The heavyweight division getting one champion to prove that he's the best out of the division.
Ortiz operates by putting his name on the contract. Doesn't matter who they go get. He just tells them, go get the other guy, whoever that is, to sign the other side, and let's fight.
But there are a lot of young heavyweights with ambitions now to get to the top of the division. Charles Martin of St. Louis has a belt, which he's going to defend against young Anthony Joshua of England. And some people think Joshua is almost certainly the future of the division. And then there's Joseph Parker.
Deontay Wilder.
Deontay Wilder of the United States has a belt.
Don't worry, don't rush it, it's coming. You got to pressure him with the jab, all right? Keep walking him. Don't let him get out of the corners until you hurt him, okay? The hand, the hook, that's right. Throw one and then the swing over the top.
But he falling for the same thing. He slips one way. One way. He doesn't slip to his hook side. He slips down to that. So watch out for him. Rocking back on that power shot. And then you got him. But pump that jab. Keep jabbing. Keep jabbing. That's it. That's it. Let's go.
So we go to the 5th round.
Now that 5th round, 5 rounds is in the bank, I think now that, Ortiz should now just go ahead and just look now and set up a shot to hit Thompson with to get him out of there, because, he's in a situation, if he knocked the guy out early, he's supposed to knock him out. If you go to distance with the guy, he went the distance with a guy he should have beaten or knocked out early.
All those fighters we mentioned in the previous round, Jim, in the heavyweight division, mark a real change in the division from the Klitschko era, which was dominated by methodical, boring European fighters and former football players and the like in the United States who weren't really fluid fighters because they came to the sport late. You mentioned Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker, Deontay Wilder, and of course Luis Ortiz, who we're watching. These are much more fluid, aggressive, explosive punchers who are looking to make the fight.
And who could give us, over the next 10 years or so, a rich period of time in the division. Quite possibly.
Indeed.
Keep up.
And of course, it'll be particularly interesting if an American fighter is able to rise up and challenge for the real championship, whether it be Wilder, whether it be Charles Martin, or whether it be some other contender whom we have not yet seen.
To be talking about the heavyweight division right now is a plus compared to 5 years ago.
For sure.
Or 10.
Part of it was a credit to Vladimir Klitschko's dominance, but it also had to do with his clinical style.
Some would say his too clinical style at times.
You just seen Thompson go 1-2 and actually got in. He got a shot in, but it wasn't nothing on it. There wasn't no power or anything on it. And these are the rounds now that I think that Ortiz now should say, okay, you've been around now for 5 rounds. Let me go ahead now and show that I'm the real deal.
But does it make you think that other heavyweights who do have power, who aren't 44 years old, might be watching this and thinking, okay, Ortiz can be hit?
I mean, that's why I said that, right now, this is where Ortiz can make his real statement even more, credibility. As far as when people question whether he is the guy out of the belt holders in the division. So now I think, step on the gas, take some little chances and try to get this guy out of here, sooner than later. I haven't seen him go to the body.
A single time. I mean, seriously, have you seen him go to the body at all?
I haven't seen him go to the body at 1 round, but I think that right now...
There's a body shot.
Body shot. So this is, again, he go to the body, makes the job easier because he wears the guy down. I don't think Thompson can take a relentless 2 rounds of body beating.
Well, March 26th, tune in to Legacy on the Line for Bradley to Pacquiao, an inside look into the history of this great rivalry as their third meeting looms. April 9, live on HBO pay-per-view, Manny Pacquiao in possibly the last bout of his extraordinary career, and we'll make the point again, possibly not. Takes on Tim Bradley in their highly anticipated rubber match. They split the first two meetings officially and look to settle the score in this upcoming showdown. Some people were surprised that Pacquiao chose Bradley for this fight. There was a thought that maybe he would fight a younger fighter like Terrence Crawford, but the ultimate decision was that the public knew Bradley better and therefore would want to see the fight.
Let's go. Let's go. Seconds out.
Quick jab to start this round. Round number 6 of a scheduled 12 by Tony Thompson.
It's not just us, by the way, noticing what's happening in the heavyweight division. The hardcore boxing writers, Cliff Rold among them, Dan Rayfield, and others, Doug Fisher, have noticed what's happening in this division and have written about it.
Ortiz now seemed to get the message, whether you heard his corner, whether you heard me or anybody else, he's coming out really now with that intensity. Like he wants to now end this fight because he knows that the longer this fight goes, doesn't look good either way. So now I think he knows that he has to go ahead and get this guy out of here. And he's doing it with some really strong punches.
But it brings up an interesting question because you point out that the superstar boxing writers at ringside now have an interest in the division. Max, are we still in the situation where, say, if Ortiz were to score the knockout in this round, they would say another tremendous and impressive performance by Ortiz? Or are we getting into the area where they will say this was not as exciting or as meaningful, seemingly, to the naked eye as his knockout victory over Bryant Jennings in December?
Yeah, I think they recognize the style of the fighter that he's in with. But I do think that it's hard to not notice that he's getting clipped by a long-armed heavyweight. And what if that were Vladimir Klitschko, for example, hitting him with shots on the way in?
Well, and of course, would it be the old Vladimir who might exactly be on the way in? Or would it be the Vladimir who backed up and threw very few punches against Tyson Fury? That's a question, of course, that will solve in the rematch between Klitschko and Fury, which is expected to take place sometime in the middle of the year.
Well, I know for a fact there's not a lot of heavyweights kicking the door down to try to fight Ortiz either, because he's a threat to any heavyweight that's in the division, belt or no belt.
A southpaw with power. You don't see them very often in the heavyweight division. And there's another knockdown, the third of the fight.
And he hurt his leg going down. That's all she wrote.
That's going to be the end of that. 8, 9. And referee Malik Walid waves it off. And so Luis Ortiz does indeed get the 6th-round knockout win over Tony Thompson.
Ortiz didn't open up Thompson's defense and go to the body the way we were suggesting, Bernard, you were suggesting. But all 3 knockdowns were the result of one shot upstairs. He has that kind of one-punch power.
So he does the job, ultimately, that everyone expected him to do. And let's take a look, Bernard, at the finishing punch.
This is the left hand that he's been throwing over the top early in the fight that got the other knockdowns. Right here, it was a counter. You know, Tony, he keeps his head to the left and he leans really right there for the overhand left. And that punch's been there all night. And you know what? Ortiz finally put some little mustard on that. And now the result was this.
Well, that was better timing. He figured out Thompson's body language. He understood this time where the head was going to be. He waited for Thompson to throw the punch and make the move, and he put the left hand right on the target.
And he got rounds in spite of that, because when you seen the early rounds, it was there all the time, and then he got to the point where he wanted to end it, and he let this